Hey everyone, this is Carol Ann Speaks, the State of Our World, on Sunday, July 26, 2020. Well, the coronavirus is still out there. As of today, this evening, we have 4,243,000. We have 4,243,419 U.S. cases of the virus. We also have over 145,000 people who have passed away from the virus. Not a very nice milestone to reach, but that's the way it is. Here's the latest thing that people are doing, those who are against the protesters. People are protesting the murder of George Floyd in Minnesota by a white police officer. And the demonstrations ever since. Now, people are demonstrating all over in different ways, but for the most part, they've been very peaceful. But now we have a tactic that we've seen before, where a car drives through a crowd, and the protester is shot. And then we have another, that was in Colorado, and then we have in Texas, a driver gunned down armed protester in Texas Capitol. So that part's getting on it. So the protesters aren't doing anything. It's those who oppose the protesters who are doing something. They're using their cars as a weapon. Very, very bad. Well, we have all these cases. We have people we have to protect. We have to get everyone well. We have to test everyone. If you test positive, trace your contacts. And you quarantine in place. I will go out when you need to, and always everybody wear a mask wherever you go, and that way we may be able to conquer this. But I do believe we need a national shutdown. We need the federal government, the federal government, to take responsibility for this virus pandemic, shut everything down, test everybody, keep track of who's been tested, who has not been tested, and the results. And that they will be able to solve this. But it's going to be a while. It's not going to be solved overnight. Now, Trump and his people are still pushing to open the schools when they're supposed to open, regardless of whether the schools are ready. You should not be reopening schools until it's safe to do so. No way. So that's a problem. Also, there was an incident where apparently China has some kind of a consulate in Texas, and the federal government has been watching this, and they were okay. The U.S. sit down a consulate, I think it was in Texas, and now the U.S. closes a consulate in a part of China. I don't know why we're taking all this action against China. Russia's the one who's interfered with our elections and is not a responsible partner for peace or for anything. Well, Trump is taking all these actions against China, not against Russia. Big mistake. Now, everybody should be aware that we have a big virus on hand. We have to protect the vulnerable populations, such as the homeless, whether they're living in a shelter or they're living on the street. We have to protect healthcare workers and first responders and grocery workers. So there's a lot of things, people who have to be protected no matter what. And so that is a problem. But that's the way it is. And we really have to solve it. Do social distancing. Only go out when you need to. And those who are protesting the lockdown or the quarantine or wearing a mask, remember, the life you save could be your own or that of someone important to you. So obey the guidelines of the CDC, and then it will be a lot better. We need responsible management of this virus. We also need to stop U.S. federal armed militias from going into American cities and attacking citizens and taking them off the street to a destination unknown. They're coming along in unmarked cars. We have to stop that. Now, we still have children who've been detained. I believe there are 300 children who were detained in some kind of border detention facility. Return them to their families immediately. Now, we have a lot of problems here. We also have an election coming up in November, and it's very important that you're registered and that you study the issues and the candidates who will be on the ballot. All right. Now, so that's a lot of news. That nothing's changed there. Farm workers, agricultural workers, very vulnerable to this disease because they work close together. Nobody should be told they have to go back to work in a place that's going to kill them or make them sick. No way. We need to provide everybody with a living income until things get back to normal. And we need to really re-examine certain things we're doing, like the way we're treating this virus versus CDC said. Have the virus self-isolate for 14 days. Now they're saying 10 days. So I'm not sure what's up, but we have Trump is now wearing a mask. Say it's important to wear a mask, but he's not wearing a mask all the time. And the people at his clubs and his hotels don't wear masks. So they really have to. That would help if you found a national message that you have to wear a mask. But I guess they would like to take that on. But he's not declaring anything. People are getting an extra $600 a month. So if they get on unemployment insurance, they're getting extra $600 a week to help them pay for bills. And now the Trump administration is considering slashing that. They think it's too generous. And then there are companies out there who say that, well, people aren't going to come back to work at our place if they can earn more money just by staying home. Well, why should someone have to go back to work in a place that'll make them sick or kill them? And these companies are fighting liability for whatever happens. If someone works on your property, you're responsible for them, and you need to own up to your responsibility. So what companies want is protection from liability. So if someone gets sick or dies in their place, they won't be responsible. Now, so what to do about that? Everybody should be responsible for everything. Schools should not reopen until it's safe to do so. You want your people back at work and give them safe working conditions. And if someone's essential, they have to be provided with safeguards, with safety, clothing, etc., personal protective equipment, etc. People are filling up the hospitals. They have the virus, and they're filling up the hospitals, the intensive care units. So it's not a very good situation. But hopefully, somehow we need some divine intervention here. All right. That's enough talking for today. How about a little song? All right. This is a song I wrote about my Aunt Charlotte. And you might like it. Give it a listen. My aunt took care of my brother and I when my mom had to go to work. You know. Alright, so, started singing this song, and I stopped. An unnatural pause. It's about my Aunt Charlotte. My aunt took care of my brother and I. When my mom had to go to work, she also had a son to raise at the time. She took care of all three. We all lived in New York City, my mom and us and my aunt and her family. We spent a lot of time together. I remember it well. I did not appreciate her all the time because I was just a kid. But now when I look back upon those times and the later years, I know I had a great aunt. Now I wish she were here with me, but I know that cannot be. So I'll go on with my story. She loves to be busy and have a good time, but she always thought of her family. She always put her family first, and then she could not take care of herself. Then came the day when my mom and I moved to California. My aunt was upset that we were leaving, but we said we would see them often. My mom and my aunt would talk on the telephone every Sunday morning. Sometimes I would talk as well, and we saw them as much as we could. My aunt always talked about her family, her son, his wife, and then her grandkids. My mom would listen and talk about hers, and the years went by. She had what it takes to be a good mom. She always thought of her family. She always put her family first, and then she could not take care of herself. Okay, that's called my Aunt from my Aunt Charlotte. I think maybe it's time to say goodnight. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in on Sunday evening, July 26, 2020, for meeting with Carol Ann Speaks, The State of Her World. Now, remember, take care of yourself, take care of others, and obey the rules. If you want this virus to go away, you have to obey the guidelines. And, all right, now remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness goes a very long way. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you all back here again tomorrow evening. Thank you. Good night. Be well. Stay safe.